Alright guys, it's your boy Snake Eater with another unboxing no, not unboxing video. I've been doing too many unboxing videos. Another Did I Enjoy blank game. I've been slacking. It's been about 3 weeks since my last one. I've been busy with other videos. I've also been busy with Starfield. Today I want to talk about The Witcher 3 on the PS5 with the next gen update. The Witcher 3 has been a game I've heard a lot about. It's the best action, adventure, fantasy, role-playing game and the best open world game of all time. It's Game of the Year 2015 and I have never played it. Now let me explain. I'm not really actually reviewing this game per se. I don't see myself as a video game critic. I'm just telling my thoughts and opinions and my experiences with this game as I go. I take notes as I'm playing the games. In 2015, I was very busy with life and video games were not a high priority to me at that point. I didn't even own a PS4 until November 2015, and The Witcher 3 came out May 2015. And the only reason I bought a PS4 was for Fallout 4, baby. The Witcher 3 just passed me by and I had no interest, unfortunately, over the years. Also, it's the third entry in the series that intimidated me, that scared me from actually trying it. What's the bigger story that I'm gonna be missing? Skip forward to 2019, The Witcher Netflix series is getting a lot of hype. I was very hyped for it myself. And The Witcher 3 just released on the Switch. And The Witcher 3 is very rough on the Switch. The performance, the visuals, it was all disorienting how bad it was. It legit gave me a headache to play this game. And then, worst of all, every time you get into combat, the same music plays over and over again. It's those weird primal singing ladies. It played over and over again. I don't know if because of storage, they only had one combat song on the Switch version, because I noticed on the PS5 version they had like 5 different combat music. Also, speaking of storage, it is just very impressive that they were actually able to fit The Witcher 3 on the Switch at all. That's an impressive feat on its own. On my Switch, I made it to Novigrad in the story before I finally put it down. The game looked so horrible with the high populated city. I cannot play it anymore. It gave me such a headache. I had to put it down. I thought The Witcher 3 was overrated. I moved on. Now, after spending 100 hours on the PS5 version, I have this to say about the Switch version. I think the Switch version is specifically for people who are already Witcher fans to play this game portably in handheld mode conveniently. I do not think people who are hopping into the Witcher series for the very first time should play the Switch version. Play the PS5 or Xbox version first, and then play the Switch version later if you want to play it on trips or whatever. It's now 2022 holiday season. They released the next gen update for The Witcher 3. The game was on sale for $20, so I decided to give it a try. Also, the update was free. After experiencing this game and the update for over 100 hours, I would have happily have paid full price $60 for this game. Now I can happily say I love this game. I was wrong for saying The Witcher 3 is overrated. I blame the Switch version for giving me such a bad first experience. Alright, let's get into it. But there are some things about this game that still bother me. This game is not perfect. I have some compliments and some complaints, because at the end of the day, even with this next gen update, this game is still technically an 8-year-old game. First, let me start off by saying the next gen update looks amazing. Character models and face animations look great. I love Geralt's little subtle facial expressions that he does. Also, he'll do little subtle body movements, like he'll shrug, look bored, unamused, tired, etc. The world looks amazing. The mountains in the distance look so realistic. I thought they were straight up real life models or pictures. Unfortunately, there is still some pop-in in the open world. Sometimes there's a lot of pop-in, sometimes it's barely noticeable and there's just like one thing that pops in. This game beats my #1 spot for worst horse controls in all of video games. #1 used to be Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. Now it's Roach in The Witcher 3. He is the worst horse I have ever used in a video game. Just like Jake Baldino said, Roach is still a piece of shit.
Up close on the horse because, I mean, Roach still rides like a piece of crap, so.
One of my favorite aspects of video games is finishing moves and executions, and The Witcher 3 does not disappoint in this field. Finishing moves are absolutely brutal and I love it. Limbs being chopped off, decapitation, stabbed in the heart, or there's a whole torso being chopped in half. The detective work by Geralt is satisfying from a protagonist standpoint. Watching Geralt figure out these puzzles like freaking Batman. He is so well trained and experienced in his field, he can almost debunk any crime scene. You feel smarter as a gamer watching Geralt. You're alongside with him solving these puzzles. But from a gameplay standpoint, the detective work is very basic and boring. Just turn on Witcher vision, look at the red object and push X. That's it. That's all. And then sometimes the game gives you the illusion of choice. When you go to a scene, it gives you 6 different options to choose from. Look at the head, look at the stomach, look at the feet, etc. But every single time it has the same outcome no matter what, from my experience anyways. The detective work is a little lackluster and hand-holdy and a little boring. I love it when games actually take advantage of the PS5 controller mechanics. The trigger gives you heavy resistance when you're using a sign or a spell or whatever, but when the spell is reloading and it's still not ready to use, the trigger gives very light resistance, letting you know, hey, it's still loading. I know it's a Witcher's job to stay neutral in politics and not really choose a side. It would have been cool to see a reputation system in the game. I love how Geralt says he's not a bodyguard, he does not do human stuff. He only deals with beasts and monsters because he's a Witcher. But he is constantly getting sucked into human drama and he can't really escape it. I see Geralt as a very complex and conflicted individual. Deep down, he wants to do good, he wants to help, but he can't always do that. His profession is a Witcher, but people constantly try to use him as a charity. I can see that he plays into the emotionless Witcher stereotype, like he has no emotions, but he does have emotions, he just hides them because he's just doing his job. Geralt kind of acts as an independent law enforcement figure. At times, he holds a surprisingly large amount of power. Citizens see him as an authority figure, and a lot of times, he decides the fate and punishments. It's just kind of an interesting dynamic. I wish there were a lot more epic and badass boss fights as the game went on. At the beginning, the Griffin gave me a very first good impression and expectation. Like, this is where the game starts off with boss fights. A Griffin, it just has to get more badass and epic as the game goes on, right? Not really, no. I kind of expected God of War level type of bosses, but I guess realistically, in this world, beasts and monsters would adapt and evolve to their competition, which is humans. There are a very few boss fights that actually left a lasting impression on me. Eventually, all the beasts and monsters just kind of blended in together in my eyes. I remember my first Leshen fight, my first Griffin, the werewolf fight. Oh, and the blood-sucking wine vampire. That was kind of a cool and actually interesting boss fight. Eventually, I kind of felt like Geralt. Killing all these things just felt normal and just part of the gameplay. It felt like a job just to get some coin and XP. Platforming is very bad and very unresponsive and frustrating. For an open world game, the actual exploring of the open world is very inconsistent and just bad. Swimming, jumping, climbing, hiking, just traversing the world is very inconsistent. At first it was no big deal to me, but over time this became more annoying. During dialogue options, if you choose something to say, Geralt won't actually say that. For example, I choose, Yennefer, are you jealous that I chose Triss over you? But Geralt actually says, you know, Yennefer, if you were nicer to me and stopped holding so many secrets, maybe I would have chosen you instead of your hot red-headed friend. Jealousy is not a good look on you. Like, what? Why'd you say that, Geralt? That is not what I chose! This might sound nitpicky, but over time, it just bothered me more. I would choose this for Geralt to say, but he would say something completely different. Combat is pretty in-depth and intuitive. A lot of the enemies require different tactics. With flying enemies, sometimes you have to use your Jedi mind trick to make them fall out of the sky. Sometimes that doesn't work and you have to use a crossbow to hit them out of the sky. Sometimes that doesn't work and you have to use your fire to hit them out of the sky. It's just different enemies require different things, and that's kind of cool. The bestiary is such a cool gameplay mechanic too, by the way. I love it. But then sometimes enemies require no strategy whatsoever, just attack button mashing. It's pretty cool figuring out what spells work on certain enemies and what don't. Or if I forget, go into the bestiary and see, oh yeah, Jedi mind trick doesn't work on this guy, but he's weak to fire, so let's go, fire! My favorite wild monsters are easily the cave trolls. They're so funny and cute and dumb. Every single troll encounter, I try to just talk to them and avoid combat. I love the variety of potions in the game. It gives you different builds to choose from, different gameplay mechanics. I find the number of potions to be just obnoxious, okay? Some of the potion effects are just obnoxious as well. Like one was add 1% to every skill that Geralt has. 1%? How is that gonna help me? And then another one was 5% extra attack damage when it's cloudy outside. Like, what the hell? In the middle of a fight when I'm fighting a dragon rooster monster, I'm not gonna look up to the sky and say, is it overcast? Is that a cloud over there? I can't tell. Is it sunny? Is it gonna rain? I can't tell. Is this potion gonna work? Like, what? There's just too many potions to choose from. I had to select 6 potions that I would rotate through that I loved. But it was so annoying having to go through dozens of potions just to find those couple that I actually use. Anyways, like I said, it's kind of cool that this game gives you different play styles and potion mixing and matching. I just found it to be too much. The potion toxic mechanic is pretty cool. I can't just spam potions back to back. I like how they show there's a little vulnerability and there's a human side to Witchers. They can't just knock potions back like beers. They're actually vulnerable to these things. I love finding new enemy types, beast types, races, and factions throughout the world. I never knew exactly what to expect and what I'm gonna find while exploring. Another nitpicky thing that annoyed me, when you consume a potion, Geralt's face goes like feral and creepy and his veins pop and they go like a different color, right? That's cool, that's awesome. But if you take a potion right before a cutscene, that effect stays on Geralt throughout the whole cutscene. You tell Triss that you love her, and there's the romance and the love scene and all that. Geralt's face was that creepy the whole time, and it just ruined it for me. I had to reload a previous save file, go back, do the fight scene again with no potions, so Geralt's face is normal during the love scene and everything. It's just weird. Speaking of Triss, by the way, yes, I chose her as my romance option. I never really liked Yennefer and how she treats Geralt. I feel like Yennefer treats Geralt as a second priority. I forgot who said it. It was either Kira or someone else, but they said Yennefer treats Geralt like a dog and he refuses to see it. I'm not very familiar with the history of Geralt and Triss. I try to do a lot of research and videos before playing and while playing. Regardless, I still prefer Triss over Yen. I feel like Yen treats Geralt as a lower class citizen and someone to use. She doesn't really respect him. She thinks she's higher and mightier and more important than Geralt. Triss treats Geralt as an equal and a companion, and she actually respects him. The whole ball sequence when Triss gets a little tipsy, she shows her true feelings for Geralt, and they have that cute little romantic scene with the fireworks. That was really cute. I really liked that. The game has a very heavy bias towards Yennefer. I think in the books he chooses Yennefer as his main companion, so it kind of makes sense. But I chose Triss. I expect the game to make Triss a bigger part of the story. But the game treats Triss as a side character and Yennefer is a main character. Like Yennefer is the main focus throughout like most of the story. I thought if I chose Triss, they would swap. But no, not really. That's kind of annoying. The game really wanted me to choose Yennefer, huh? That's kind of lame. Then why even give me a choice? Also, this just proves my point that the game treats Triss as a side character and Yennefer is more important. There's 2 love scenes with Yennefer, only 1 with Triss. Lame, man. There's 2 things I like about Yennefer though. She treats Ciri as her daughter. She's a mother figure to Ciri. She's very protective over her. That's cool. I like that. Yennefer's kink with unicorns. I thought it was a little stuffed animal that they use in bed or something. But no, it blew my mind and it was so funny when I figured out it's a life-size, actual, real unicorn that's stuffed. That was so funny. Now the story itself, a father looking for his daughter, is so simple, but somehow they make it so complicated and tell an epic story through it. I love how you see Geralt traveling to place looking for Ciri, and the gameplay transitions to Ciri's adventures in the same area. It gives a lot more context. Maybe this was also the developers testing the waters, seeing how gamers react to Ciri, so she's the main character in The Witcher 4 because Geralt's journey is over. I don't know, maybe. Throughout Geralt's journey, he really does meet a wide variety of characters. The only thing that kind of bothered me is the game does not really do a good job explaining who all these people are. I understand this is the 3rd entry in the series, so it's kind of on me to research and figure out who all these characters are, but I'm missing a lot of context here. I wish at the beginning of the game when you start a new playthrough, there was like a quick catch-up explanation to the events prior to the Wild Hunt. How did Geralt meet Triss? How did he lose his memories? How did he meet Dandelion? During conversation with Yennefer, Geralt says, Yen, you know I forgot my memory. And I said, wait, Geralt forgot his memory at one point? Wait, Geralt was part of the Wild Hunt? What am I missing? How are they just gonna casually drop this in conversation? Moving on, I really love the Jedi mind trick and how OP it is. I do like how Geralt even acknowledges it, and he says, Witchers should not play God and they need to use this sparingly, only in certain situations. They can't just spam the Jedi mind trick over and over again. And the items you find in the game level up with you, so it's kind of cool, but then again that means the sword I was using an hour ago is now useless because I have a stronger sword now. So there's just a lot of weapons, a lot of resources to gather from. I love being a stinky little loot goblin, but it was very overwhelming at times when I had to dedicate a good 20 minutes going through all my inventory. Unfortunately, I do think the ending kind of sucked. I wanted to see Geralt and Triss interact with their new life, not a crappy narration and a still image telling me that their future together. And then the game starts you right back at Kaer Morhen and all the main characters are gone. What the hell, man? I just went on this epic adventure with my daughter and love interest. Let me at least interact with them post-game. Triss buys a house for her and Geralt to settle down in and live together. I was hoping that the game would start me off in that house and I can actually interact with Triss, and it was honestly very depressing starting the game in Kaer Morhen, totally empty and quiet, and there's no NPCs. All the main NPCs are just gone from the world. The ending left such a bad taste in my mouth. I didn't want to continue with the New Game Plus or with the DLC. I needed to play something else. Look, overall, I did really love this game. It does not really crack my top 10 favorite games of all time, but it does crack my top 20 games of all time. Once I do a New Game Plus and I choose Yennefer as my main companion, I do the DLC, I replay it again, and New Game Plus, maybe this will get in my top 10 favorite games of all time. I'll have to let you know next year. The story was enthralling and kept my attention. It was honestly unpredictable when Geralt would go to a new location to track Ciri. Each location had numerous fascinating NPCs with different quests and different storylines, and I had to learn and interact with them. I loved it. It was interesting going from the continent where the general population treats Geralt as a mutant and discriminates towards him, but then you go to Skellige and everyone's respectful and actually kind of nice at Geralt. It's kind of cool to see that a dynamic, how people treat different individuals. Side quests are mostly fun, and some actually have an impact on the story overall and the world. Some quests are sad and depressing, some are emotional, some are badass, some are magical, and some are quirky. Like the famous Bloody Baron quest. That one's famous for a reason. It's awesome. At one point, you encounter a group of outcast monsters who team up together, and they decide what to do with you based on your actions throughout the game. If you actually help monsters throughout the journey and not just kill them on the spot, this group of outcast monsters will actually be like, hey, you actually help us. Some of your decisions actually have an impact on the world and further quests. That was awesome to see. I loved that. You get to meet up with multiple other Witchers throughout your journey and how they see their Witcher status. Some see it as a curse, some see it as a blessing, some abuse it, some want to just settle down and they don't want to be a Witcher anymore. It's just kind of cool seeing different Witchers. It was a little weird that Geralt is the only white-haired Witcher. I thought there'd be other white-haired Witchers out there. I don't know. I love the characters. I love the quests in this game. This game is just awesome. Eventually, I do want to come back to this game and do a second playthrough, like I said earlier. Overall, this game gets 2 big thumbs up. I am sad that Henry Cavill is leaving the show. I'm not going to watch it after season 3. I'm also really excited to see what's going to happen with The Witcher 4.